Hello, everybody, and welcome here tonight to Iowa Speedway here for the Crooked Line Racing League 100 in the Wheel and Tour Modified Cars. My name is Zach Wetstein. I'm here tonight with Tanner Marr. How you doing tonight, Tanner?
Doing good, Zach. Excited to be here at Iowa. It's one of my favorite tracks on across of all of iRacing. Different type of car here tonight. Tour modifies from Iowa, but should still be a good show. I'd hope.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to be talking tonight about something that we usually don't, just because we're on a lot shorter tracks than this. But tire wear is going to actually come into play here tonight. Fuel, they're not going to be able to make it all the way, at least if they go green. I mean, we need a lot of caution laps in order for them not to make it on fuel. So it's going to be interesting tonight to see how these drivers are going to manage their pit strategy.
Yeah, I think we hit about 70 laps is what we've been told, and but 70 laps on one set of tires here. That's going to be rough. We know we have one set of tires in the pits, and we have a competition caution at lap 50, so it's going to open the door for a little bit of strategy tonight.
Yeah, I think if we have some early cautions here tonight, we'll see our usual people who maybe go down pit road multiple times to get fuel. Um, and we might see some people that by lap 30 might be able to make it the rest of the way and then just maybe take tires on that halfway stop. So I'm really interested to see how it's going to go down here tonight. So, these kind of races, at shorter tracks, maybe you don't have to worry about tires. There's a little bit less strategy involved. But when you have to worry about being fast and having the right pit call, that can have you can have a lot of anxiety when you're trying to make the right call on the racetrack. So right now, Jason A. Day, he's got that speed part down. He's got the pole spot so far.
That's one thing about these type of tracks. When you put these typical short track style cars on a bigger track, I mean, you gotta conserve tires everywhere you go. But then you get on a big fast track like this, Zach, and it's just multiplied.
Yeah, I'm about to go through the grid for you guys here in a second. Who was our recent win? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Jason Day.
Jason Day. All right, so he is on the pole spot, but he's going to have to go backwards to start this race, unfortunately. But he did get that fastest time, so that's a good sign for him here tonight. 23.631 is that time for him. Trevor Catalano starting this one in second, with Jeff Paisley in third. The outside row, the outside of the second row in the 8, the Christian Pittman in fourth. Brad Carpenter starting this one fifth. Sixth position is going to go to Brandon Mettler, with Brian Bianchi starting this one seventh. Eighth will be Brad Ringer. Tyler Catalano starting this one ninth, with Tyler Johnson rounding out the top 10. Ron Daughtry starting this one 11th, with Matt Zaccardo 12th. P13 goes to Zach Murphy, with Garland Bennett on his outside in the 30. P15 is going to go to Tommy Dunn here tonight with Keith Mack in 16th. Steve Sexton is starting this one in 17th, with Rex Hoyle in the 54 on his outside in 18th. Anthony Rayner in 19th, with Frank Barbary starting this one in 20th in the 20 car. Ken Zeems in 21st, and then I believe Timmy Catalano and Thomas Flanagan, they didn't qualify. We'll see if they're racing. We know Joshua Sexton, I believe he's doing race control with Scott, or not with Scotty. Joshua Sexton's doing race control tonight, right?
Yes, sir. He's doing it with Scotty Stevens.
Okay, with Scotty
Those are
Stevens.
two race control. It looks like Thomas Flanagan and one of the Timmy Catalano in the 22 machine. They came in a little late. I don't even see practice laps for either one of them either, Zach. So they're coming out here. They're gridded. I see them on the grid. So that's going to be wild coming in. Your first laps on the track is turn one, lap one, with cars all around you.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like, and I was gonna say kind of like NASCAR, but even those guys get laps down in the simulator. So, but in terms of when they get in their real cars, they're diving into turn one without really knowing how their car's gonna be, and that's kind of the situation we have a couple drivers here tonight in as we are off rolling, and with Jason Day going to the back, that'll move Jeff Paisley up to the front row on the inside line.
I tell you, Zach, I'm looking at these results page right now, and from first to about at 11th. They're only separated by 1/10, a little bit over a tenth of a second on that qualifying. So that shows that not only is this going to be a fast race, a fast like according to pace wise, but it's going to be a super competitive race. I think we're going to see a lot of side by side. You're going to have people jockeying for position. I think the high lane will end up coming in as the runs go on, like it does in NASCAR and in the trucks and stuff like that here. But I still think the bottom lane is where you're going to want to be here tonight. But I may be wrong. We'll have to wait and see. But overall, I think it's going to be a good race when you get this many guys out here with this close times.
I'm really excited for this race. A lot of the tracks we go to are very, very tough to pass on. And it's not easy. It's not a cakewalk to pass here, but a lot more reasonable to say that someone can make a pass here compared to other tracks that we've already been to this season. So I think the racing's going to be great, and well, they're going to have to prove us right in that term of if it's going to be a good race or not. But I have faith in these guys, and it's a really fun racetrack and some fun race cars. So we're getting ready to go racing here. Trevor Catalano and Jeff Paisley, your front row. The green flag is out here at Iowa Speedway, and they're already jostling for position back there. Like you said, 3 wide into turn 1. We'll see if they figure that out before they dive into turn 1. They do.
Yeah, I don't think, no matter what track.
Spinning.
Oh, we got a car going around. That's Brandon Mettler.
Oh, right in
black
front.
Ooh.
Oh.
We had a couple cars tangled up there.
That's
I think, Zach, we're going to see that happen a lot tonight. Maybe not that wreck, but a lot of jockeying for position on these restarts.
Yeah, that's Brandon Mettler, and it doesn't help that on cold tires it is really loose here, and you saw that. I mean, he spun out, and it's really hard to save when you're running that high line or middle lane, and yeah, cold tires. Eventually, these cars get tighten up, but before they do, they are pretty loose on exit. Scotty Stevens told me he did a run, so yeah, that you see the 015 car here. We'll come back to you guys. You see him. We'll line up behind him in 1 and 2 on the exit, and just gets loose and nowhere to go for a couple of cars wrecking in front of him too. And man, when a car wrecks and spins out right in front of the field, and he stays on the track like that, doesn't spin down below the yellow line, that can create for some danger.
Yes, and I mean, iRacing's new smoke. I applaud them for the new smoke, but man, oh man, it's hard to see through. If somebody lights their tires up and they're sideways, it's a smoke show, Zach, and you got to just guess on where to go. Do you drive to the smoke? Do you try to drive away from the smoke? It's just a guessing game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you want to go away from the smoke just because that's where maybe the car is, but you don't know maybe if they're somewhere, maybe they're away from the smoke wrecking as well. So, I mean, it's literally a smoke screen, and you just gotta go through it and hope that you're missing it, because I mean that's what they got to do in real life too. You know, you watch these real life wrecks where sometimes the smoke clouds are so big that you just literally cannot see until you're on the other side. And unfortunately and fortunately, iRacing updated the smoke package. There's always going to be positives and negatives, and when someone's wrecking, you know, it's positive if you're behind it because you can see where the wreck is, maybe if you're a little bit further behind, but that negative is then you're not going to be able to see once you get to it.
You're exactly right, and that caution, I mean, lap 1, I know we had quite a bit of cars get tangled up in that right there, Zach, because not a lot of places for them to go, but we also, it looks like pit road's been kind of busy right here with some comers and goers.
Yeah, I think it's probably most of the people caught up in that. Brandon Mettler, Tyler Catalano, Ken Zeems, Rex Hoyle, Timmy Catalano. Not sure. Some of those names were in that wreck. I'm not sure if it's all, because you can, you know, come to get that fuel, but as of now, you're still not going to be good to make it the rest of the way. And I think we're going to see a lot of our leaders stay out until that halfway point just for track position. But you absolutely have to come down at least at that halfway point and get tires. I mean, even if you have enough caution laps somehow that you can make it after halfway without getting fuel, you still really want tires.
Speaking with a few of the drivers when we were out just turning laps there in practice, Zach, and they said that since these cars take so long to add fuel, I mean, it's over a second per gallon. So if you go down and use 10 gallons, have to put 10 gallons in it, you're going to be down there for a little bit. You ain't going to lose a lap at a big track like this, but you're going to lose a lot of positions. So I've heard a lot of drivers say each caution they're going to come down and take a gallon to 2 gallons every time. So that may have been a few guys doing that, but I know they had pretty much a full set of fuel. I think they have 20 gallons. I think these cars hold 21, 22 gallons. So they couldn't have added too much, only doing one lap right there. Not even one lap really, half a lap.
Yeah, that's the only reason. I'm sure that most of those people down pit road were down there due to that wreck, but
Right.
I could be wrong. As Jeff Paisley took the lead before that caution came out. Christian Pittman's going to be lining up behind him in that 8. Nice top 5 for him last week. Finished 3rd. Looking to have another strong run. He had a tough first 2 races, but he's starting to build that confidence up a little bit more and more week by week.
You're exactly right. He's such a fast driver, and he's not cocky, but he's confident in himself. He knows that he should be near the front every time he's in a race car. And I mean, you know people like that, Zach. You're one of them people. If you get in a race car, you feel like you're going to compete no matter what the car is. And he had a string of bad luck, and he put himself in a pretty big hole. Christian Pittman did, and so now he's working hard trying to climb out of it. And just by getting solid top 5 finishes, that's how you do it. You don't have to win every race. You just have to finish consistently.
Yep, consistency is key. Jeff Paisley, newcomer after last week. A tough race last week, but looking to rebound here at Iowa. Doing good so far. I mean, he's got himself up front, and the green flag is out, and he's going to stay up front with that good of a jump as he leaves 2nd and 3rd place almost side by side. But Trevor Catalano wins that race, and we are side by side a lot throughout the field.
They were 3 wide further on back. I couldn't tell who it was. It was a black and blue. Oh, we got a car getting loose on the apron.
Tyler
Zach.
Johnson.
I don't
he's
think,
good, though.
Yeah, no caution will come out of that. He just needs to get back up to speed and shake that off and just try to stay on the lead lap. That shows right there. It's them cold tires gremlins. I mean, it can reach out and bite anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to be very careful. And when you're riding right next to that yellow line, if you go an inch below it, you're going to hurt yourself because that apron will almost spin you out immediately. As we're taking a look at 16th here, that's Jason Day. He started this race 23rd, so he's already up. He's already up 7 positions. I was going to look at the number, but it says -15 because I forgot that it still shows where he qualified. So up 7 spots and still a lot to go. He's not even inside the top 15 yet, but good move so far, 9 laps into this race.
I'm curious to see. I thought they would run. I knew the low line would prevail, probably more than likely, but I figured you wouldn't think in these cars, but dirty air really affects these cars. You can feel the air get dumped on your spoiler at a bigger track like this, and so I thought we would see people running lanes that whoever in front of them, whatever lane they're running in front of them, they run opposite lane. But you see everybody's trying to hug that yellow line for the most part. You got a few drivers about a half a groove up, but they're all trying to go the fast way around this track right now.
Yeah, your top 3 starting to pull away a little bit right now. And usually if we were at our normal maybe half mile, quarter mile, you would see this be a little bit harder of a position for Trevor Catalano or Christian Pittman because they'd be stuck behind each other. But at this track, you're seeing Christian Pittman. It's still tough to pass, but it's a lot more doable than it is the other tracks that we race at. But Trevor Catalano is holding well on that outside line, and this is what you like to see at a track like this, is multiple grooves are able to be very fast.
You're exactly right. There's not one groove that's prevailing over each other right now. Christian Pittman looks to be a little bit faster on entry, but then Catalano makes up the difference on exit. As you see Christian actually following behind him. They were letting Brad in the green car right behind him. He actually caught him a little bit right then because they were a little bit checked out on 4th and 5th.
Yeah, and that's going to help Jeff Paisley. These 2 battle, and well, it's not a big lead, but it's bigger than it was. I mean, Trevor Catalano was just on the back bumper of Jeff Paisley, so with that battle, that's going to give Jeff Paisley a 2 or 3 car length lead over 2nd place, but how long will that last? Because we saw some speed from the 21 and the 8 behind him.
You're exactly right, and hitting on the dirty air while it goes, Zach. I mean, the draft plays a factor in here, too. These cars, they don't suck up like an Indy car, but they do have draft. I mean, you get behind somebody and you're 5, 6, 7 miles per hour faster. So that's going to help 2nd and 3rd place right now too.
Battle for 7th here though, between Garland Bennett, Brian Bianchi, Thomas Flanagan, all three here. You see Garland Bennett there in the 30. He's able to make the pass. Now, Brian Bianchi going to try to follow him and pass Brian Bianchi in the outside. That's Thomas Flanagan. I apologize.
You know, Zach, I just now noticed Thomas Flanagan started in the 24th position, and he's currently running 9th right now. Granted, there was a lap one wreck, but he's had to make some passes too.
Yeah, good call. Up 16 spots already. That is definitely our biggest mover so far. There's even more racing going on behind him. Rex Hoyle there in the 54 makes a pass. Almost 3 wide in turn 3 and 4.
Ooh, that's scary. I don't want to be there. I'll be anywhere but there.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to be 3 wide at Iowa. There's multiple racing grooves, but I still don't want to be 3 wide. But I mean, look at this racing here going on. Multiple battles going on in the track, side by side. And we're starting to see it spice up near the lead on my timing screen. We'll go back there in a second as these battles are starting to thin out a little bit. You got Jason Day there in that red and white machine in the 52 making another pass on the inside. There are a lot of cars in front of him that could hold him up, but that's also, if you look at it the other way, a lot of passing opportunities.
Absolutely. As I'm focused on the leaders here now, the top 5 have actually created kind of a blanket for themselves. Top 6, actually. But there for a little bit, Catalano and Christian Pittman, they were right on Jeff's bumper, but Jeff started hitting his marks again, and he's slowly pulling away. But now look, as soon as I mention that, what happens? The opposite happens.
Yeah, I'm surprised with how patient Trevor Catalano is being, because he's noticed that he's being held up right now, and that's helping Christian Pittman get to his back bumper. So he's being patient right now, and I'll give it to him. We're only 20 laps into a 100-lap race, but if you get stuck on the outside, you can race out of your, or you can win that position even being on the outside, but you don't want to be stuck up battling somebody and then the guys behind him pass you. So you got to be very careful how patient you're going to be in that second position.
As we saw Christian Pittman in the 8 car, he actually looked underneath. I think, is it Trevor Catalano? There's 3 Catalanos. Yeah, looked underneath Trevor Catalano in the 21 machine, but that allowed Brad Carpenter to actually get right up there with them. So Christian Pittman thought better of it. He said lap 21, I'll just dip back in line. But yes, I think second and third, they might be a hint faster than Jeff Paisley. But Jeff Paisley, he's running a beautiful line. And yes, you can pass here, but if that guy's doing everything right, it's going to be hard to pass.
Yeah, these cars really hugging that yellow line if they're single filed out, as you're seeing all 6 cars up here around that bottom line, and Christian Pittman all over the back bumper of Trevor Catalano. You got to be very careful when pushing in these cars. We've seen any small contact is almost, we did see a little bit of sparks, some contact, maybe our top 2 on the wall on the exit of 4, but you got to be careful if you're pushing somebody in these cars, because you and I have seen so far in this season that any little contact can really spin someone out.
You're absolutely right, Zach. And something I've noticed from being up in the booth with you is that neck code is really prevalent in these cars. I don't think it's as bad in other cars as it seems like it is in these cars. As we see Zach Murphy throwing his name in the hat in the 29 machine back there. He's up on the top 5 right now, looking at, I think, at Brad Ringer, if I do remember correctly. Yes, Brad Ringer.
Yeah, there goes Zach Murphy into the top 5. He won 2 weeks ago, finished second last week, so he's looking to continue the string of podium finishes.
Man, we have a lot of big movers here tonight, Zach. Zach Murphy, he gridded 13th. He's currently running 5th. Garland Bennett gridded 14th. He's currently running 7th. Thomas Flanagan gridded 24th. He's currently running 8th. So there's a lot of big movers here tonight. I think that goes to show how close and competitive the qualifying laps were here tonight, Zach, that if one of these guys is running the top 5, if they made a mistake in their qualifying lap, it may have put them back at like 15th, 16th. But they're proving here tonight that they have race speed. They just have to pick the cars off and get up there, and that's what Zach Murphy and them are doing.
One thing Jeff Paisley's loving right now is the battling going on between second and third. Trevor Catalano and Christian Pittman, they have been racing each other a lot here early on in this race, and you got to think they're burning up that right front tire doing so as Trevor Catalano holds on to second.
Yeah, I'm worried for Christian Pittman in the 8 because he's the one that keeps looking underneath Trevor Catalano, and when he's underneath him like that, he's having to crank that wheel a little bit harder just to make sure he don't go up and push up and take out Catalano. So that it makes me nervous for Christian and his right front. If you heat these right fronts up, you're going to be a dump truck, and you'll just be pushing, and before you know it, you're going to be super, super tight.
Thomas Flanagan sitting 8th right now. He's still where we saw him last, holding on over Brian Bianchi there in the 14. Jason Day, we're keeping an eye on him. He's only up to 14th, so he's either taking it easy or all this battling has really burnt up his tires, because last time we saw him, he was 16th, and I thought maybe he would have made a couple more passes by now, but that's the question. Is he taking it easy, or is he just burnt up the tires trying to pass people?
We just had major contact getting into turn 1 and 2, I think it was, Zach, between, it was actually Brad Carpenter pushed Christian Pittman into Catalano, and pretty good driving by both drivers, Christian Pittman and Catalano, for saving that car. But I think Pittman, he's getting a little antsy now. He's ready to try to go pick off Jeff Paisley.
So is Trevor Catalano. I thought he'd look to the outside. He maybe is into 3. He's not going to beat him on entry, but if you can get up next to somebody on the outside line, on the exit of the turn, you're going to get a really good run, as he's going to look to the inside now. He's run out of patience. Trevor Catalano going to try to pass Jeff Paisley for the lead here on lap 31. It's going to be tough on that inside. We've seen that outside line be able to pinch. We're maybe 3 wide for the lead.
3 wide for the lead.
Oh, man. Great racing up here, clean so far. And Jeff Paisley, you know he's going to run like hell on that outside line to try to hold off for the lead over Trevor Catalano.
I mean, these drivers are putting on a racing clinic right here. We've seen a slight contact.
Oh, contact.
Ooh, more contact.
Oh.
Those drivers may not be friendly at the end of this race, because I've watched them lock bumpers 3 times now, Zach.
I mean those... Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine.
I was just going to say, those two have been racing side by side in 2nd and 3rd for so long, it's got to start getting annoying for both of them.
Right, that's what I was going to say. At some point, you get tired of having to race somebody that hard. And, I mean, I know we're race car drivers, that's what we do, but at some point, you're like, man, cut me a break. Go on, get away from me. And these drivers are they're not really taking a whole lot, but they're not giving a lot either.
Oh, boy, Tanner. Trevor Catalano got up next to him on exit, and I think that's going to give him the lead into 1.
If he stays on him right here on entry, he will clear him on exit. And he might bring Christian Pittman with him.
We saw Trevor setting that up multiple laps, and he finally executes. He takes the lead, and like you mentioned, Christian Pittman going to try, and, you know, at a track maybe like Martinsville where we'll end the season, no, Christian Pittman pinches him a little too low, but at a track like Martinsville, you'll see if you get stuck on the outside, then you kind of get a train on the inside line to pass you. But here it looks like if you get stuck on the inside, you're going to be getting passed by a lot of people on the outside. But because of that contact between Christian Pittman and Jeff Paisley, that actually helps Jeff keep that 2nd position.
Man, Zach, this is insane, right? This is great racing. You got 6 cars. I think you could put a name in a hat of these 6 guys, pull a name out of the hat, and one of these guys could be the winner here. That's how fast all 6 of these guys are. And right now, Trevor Catalano, he's actually leading the charge, but Jeff Paisley's led every lap up to this point, and he wants to get it back. You know he does. You know he's hungry. He's new to this series, and he wants to put his name in as a winner.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw Jeff in the lead and fall back, but it seems like he's following that monkey or the monkey's tail, and he's regained some speed, it looks like.
That's Brad in the 31 lime green machine. Looks to the bottom of Christian Pittman, but that's going to allow Zach Murphy to actually close the gap on him and pass him fairly easy.
I think he touched the apron, Brad Carpenter did.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, it looked like he let Brad Ringer and Zach Murphy just pass him with ease.
Yeah, he touched that apron, and if you stay on the gas after touching the apron, it's going to be a whole lot worse than just losing a couple positions. So I give Brad Carpenter some credit there. He let off the gas and let his car kind of catch itself before he got back on the gas.
It looks like these drivers have kind of settled down a little bit. They've single filed back out. But look here, Zach. Jeff's right on Catalano's bumper.
Yeah.
I mean, he's knocking on his door saying, honey, I'm home. Let me in. And he's looking to the inside right now.
And I guess I'll ask you a question. You know, this isn't a huge track, but it is a pretty big track for these Wheel and Tour modified cars. Do you think they're able to stay so close for so long, partially because of the draft?
I think so, and I know it's a secret in these cars, and the fast guys know it. You never want to lift out all the way in these cars. I don't care if you're at Martinsville. You always want to stay at least quarter throttle, because what it does, Zach, it adds weight to that right rear, and you think that would make you loose, but it keeps the car so balanced. So that's why, I mean, these guys, I bet they're not lifting over half throttle in the corners. I guarantee they're not. And it's keeping them all sucked up together with the draft, and then that on top of it, that's just showing marvelous racing.
Yeah, let's take a look at the speeds they're running through the turns. And that green arch there, that should be their throttle input. No, that
Okay, you're able to.
no, that doesn't look right, because they're definitely more than they're off the
Well,
throttle a little bit more than it was showing.
you guys, they may be lifting more now because of tire wear. Pull it back up real quick, Zach. Let's look at it. Let's see what we got. I've done so many races. I'm gonna tell you if it's accurate.
Yeah, it sounds like
That's pretty. I think it's pretty accurate. I really do, Zach.
I don't know. He sounds like he's a lot more off the gas, but I could be wrong.
I know, like at Martinsville, Zach, if you watch these guys in like super lates, if you go in their cockpit, the iRacing sound makes it sound like they're shifting too.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the sound really lines up perfect for us. It might. I'm not sure. But I know 3/4 throttle, that seems a little intense. I don't know if Catalan was able to do that. But even still, they're not. I don't think they're lifting all the way out of the throttle. And that's allowing them to maintain so much momentum. And then you throw the draft on top of that. That's an awesome shot you got there, Zach. That gives you a great view from first to sixth place right there.
Now we'll go. Goes to Jeff Paisley here, right behind Trevor. Actually, he's going to go to the inside. It looks like Trevor really protecting that outside. He's learned from the pass that he made that if you're about to get past, you want to protect that outside line.
This is another fantastic shot for the viewers because you see a racetrack here, like you think it's just a smooth asphalt surface, but there's bumps in this track. You see all them cracks and stuff like that. That adds character to these tracks. And these drivers, they have a force feedback wheel, which I'm sure most of them do. They're feeling that in their wheel right now, Zach.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what makes iRacing so good is their track models are identical. I mean, if there's a bump there in real life, there's a bump there in iRacing.
Go a little bit further back in the field. Thomas Flanagan, he's now moved up to 7th. He passed Garland Bennett. That's now 17 spots he's made up. Jason Day still outside of the top 10 right now in 13th. He had pole speed, but when you're stuck in traffic, it can be tough, as we've seen up there up front. I mean, we've seen one pass for the lead, but other than that, all 6 cars have really stayed in line. So Jason Day, he's going to take this caution here in 2 laps to his advantage, get some tires, get fuel, and they'll be stacked up once again for him to try to make multiple passes on the restart.
Jason Day, he's not really in it right now per se, but what would Jason Day be in right here if he's not able to make them passes? If he's following somebody, what's he in, Zach? What's my trademark?
Oh, in a box.
He's in a box. He can't break that bubble on the guy in front of him. It's maybe the draft's playing into that. Maybe he's just conserving his tires. But right now he's just riding behind. I can't even tell. That's Keith Mack, I think, that he's riding behind right there. And then I think he's looking to the inside now. He might just be biding his time. Like I said, we have a caution coming at lap 50 for a comp caution. He makes the pass on Keith, though. Keith allowed him to get the pass fairly easy right there.
Brad Ringer making some moves along with Christian Pittman, so they're trying to get every position they can before that caution comes out when they get to the start-finish line this time around.
I wonder if Chris is thinking, I want the outside lane here, but he's not going to be able to get it on this restart.
Caution is out for the comp caution here at Iowa Speedway. Great first half of the race. Only one caution, and that was on the 2nd lap, so a great run there after an early wreck.
I was nervous, Zach, coming into here because, I mean, we knew it was going to be loose on the start, but coming off turn 4 here, no matter what car you're in, you can squeeze up into the wall pretty quick. And, I mean, we saw Jeff Paisley and Catalano kind of get into the wall earlier, but not a lot of drivers have done that tonight, so that's pretty good.
Trevor Catalano was able to make that pass on the outside of Jeff Paisley, and he was able to hold the lead the rest of the way here to this caution. As I imagine we'll see every single driver down pit road here.
It's going to be a 22 car busy pit lane, and this is not a very wide pit lane either. It's a short track, and the pit road is too, so you got to be careful here.
Yeah, I don't think there's any lap cars. There is a lap car, so
yeah, there's one going around.
So that'll be the only car you see not pit, I imagine.
There's another one.
I think Brandon Mettler is the free pass, so he'll pit next time around with the lap cars.
Ooh, you see that? I just saw 3 drivers overshoot their pit box. Jeff Paisley, Christian Pittman, and Brad Carpenter. All 3 had to back up into their pit box, Zach.
Oh, man. That can be costly, especially when you know you have a strong car, but if you're further back in the pack, it's tough in dirty air. Maybe not as much dirty air on these cars, but just being stuck behind people sometimes can make you burn your tires off a lot earlier or a lot more than you want to. So, yeah, every position here is key, and you don't want to lose any on pit road if you can manage that. As we're going to see Ron Daughtry, I believe he probably just took 2 tires, which might not be a horrible call just because I think those right side tires are going to be a lot more worn off than the left sides.
It might loosen him up, and I mean, as the run goes on, it might be okay. I don't know. Me personally, I think I'm going to take 4 just to even myself out in the field, but you've seen, it's hard to pass here, and you need to get every bit of a track position that you can get here.
Just going to go back and check out his pit stop. No, he took 4 tires. Maybe no fuel. He's maybe been in pit road the caution before, but I would imagine you'd still need to get fuel here. But he takes 4 tires, and I mean, he was further back, I believe, before he came into pit road. So we talk about how it's about how long does a gallon take, you said?
It's for per gallon, it takes roughly a second to a second and a half.
Okay, so I mean, we talk about how fuel can take longer, and maybe that's why he didn't take any fuel, maybe?
And also, like, if you go in, Zach, in these cars and don't take no tires and fuel, it takes about 3 seconds for them to even get ready to fuel. I don't know if they got to take the rear deck lid off or what, but these cars, compared to the Super Lates, the NASCARs, any other cars on the service, these cars take by far the longest to fuel up.
We're actually seeing some cars go a lap down from pit road. Brian Bianchi, Timmy Catalano, and Frank Barbary, Frank Barbary was already a lap down. Anthony Rayner, not sure if he was. I only saw 2 before we went down pit road. So we're seeing more people down pit road just to get that extra fuel. Tyler Catalano, Keith Mack, and Matt Zaccardo. So just getting every ounce of fuel they can. Maybe thinking Zach, they can't make it from here.
I hate to interrupt you, but we have a story developing. There's about 9 to 10 drivers that got exiting closed pits right then. They're saying it's a glitch. I came across and said we're not clearing none because I had other drivers saying no. It clearly said the pits were closed. They tried to beat out the pace car so they didn't get go a lap down. And race control's not cleared any black flags. So we got a bunch of drivers going to the tail end of the field for exiting the closed pits here.
Oh,
and the drivers you got going to the tail end are some of them that was the drivers that were up front.
Maybe that's why Tyler Catalano was down pit road again if he got that penalty. So
I don't. Trevor Catalano, he's currently 9th. He was the one that was leading. There's like 3 Catalanos.
Oh, Trevor.
Now.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, there's
Trevor Tyler. Trevor Tyler.
Yeah, and Timmy. I know Tyler got one for sure. Matt Zaccardo got one, and I think Zach Murphy got one, and Christian Pittman I know for sure got one.
So Ron Daughtry, Jason Day, Rex Hoyle, Tommy Dunn, Tyler Johnson, Thomas Flanagan, Brad Ringer, Ken Zeems, all out front right now ahead of the people who were up front before that caution. As the green flag is back out, 45 laps to go here at Iowa Speedway, and I think we were 3 wide into the turn, and they somehow survived. as we're going to see if these drivers who were up front earlier can make quick time of these guys. Not yet, but obviously we're early into this restart. We've seen Jeff Paisley move back already to 11th. I believe he started next to Trevor Catalano, who's in 7th or 8th right now.
It's definitely shook things up, Zach, putting them faster guys, the guys we've seen leading this race, they're actually at the tail end of the field in the middle of the pack right now. So we're going to see if they're in a box or if they can make the passes here tonight. As we see some double file action.
Jason Day making a pass for the lead here. A pit call for him gets him up front where you know he wants to be, because he was stuck back in traffic in 13th or so before that caution came out. So you know with how fast he is, he wants to be up front.
You're exactly right. I mean, to put it on the pole and then get the EOL because you're last week's winner, it's awesome and all, but man, you won last week, but you're thinking about tonight now, you know? So taking that EOL, it's brutal on the start.
As we are still side by side here, that is Trevor Catalano and Tyler Johnson side by side for 7th right now. As we're going to see if, you know, Trevor Catalano can make passes on the inside. We saw him make a pass on the outside for the lead, but he was never able to make a successful pass on the inside. So that's probably what he's going to have to do here, and he's got 7 cars in front of him that he has to do it with.
Exactly right. So now, what stinks for these guys back here is, you know, they're going to use a lot of tire trying to get back up there, Zach. So that's good news for the ones like Jason Day, Ron Dartrey, Rex Hoyle, as long as they can make it on fuel.
Yeah, that's my big question, you know. I watched Scotty Stevens do his run, and he did about 70 laps, really on the mark, 70 laps. And so, I mean, you pit around lap 4 or 5, you know, under the first caution laps. That's still 95 laps out, and then you get a couple caution laps at lap 50, but if you don't take any fuel at lap, the wrecking.
Oh, tough break for Christian Pittman. He is on his lid like a turtle.
Oh, man. Tyler Johnson was around, Christian Pittman on his roof, and it is not going to make it back on the tires unless he gets help. And I saw like the back half of the beginning of the wreck, if you catch what I'm saying. Jeff Paisley, I don't think they should give me an EOL, but that's just based off of my immediate reaction. We're going to take a second look at what really happened. It looked like Tyler Johnson got loose, and then Jeff Paisley could not check up in time. Oh no, I'm not sure there. It looks like
he had to check up for that red car, but he slowed way down though. That's a tough one.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be race control because Jeff Paisley, that bottom's open, and then Tyler Johnson closes it as Jeff Paisley goes for it. So, yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to call that.
Tough lick for Christian Pittman. Watch that back. He just hits the wall head on trying to dodge it, and the whole filled up. He just, only thing that was open was the wall. That was king on king crime right there. 5 King drivers getting in with each other. 3 5 Kings just got taken out in that wreck right there.
And yeah, even if somebody helped him on his tires, I'm not sure he would have had a motor to make it back around, unfortunately. We'll see if this caution helps these drivers try make it to the end on fuel. But you know, we get later in this race, and there's going to be a lot less give than you might have seen in that first half of the race, and that's when cautions can breed cautions.
You're exactly right. I mean, these drivers have been, quote-unquote, playing nice for the last little bit just because it's a long race, 100 laps. But I think they're going to start, the intensity is going to start increasing here, Zach, as the laps start to wind down.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can kind of smell that last lap coming when you get past halfway. You feel the intensity go up, and that's when you start to make more aggressive moves. And sometimes those aggressive moves just don't work out, and that might have been one of them. You know, Jeff Paisley saw a hole. He tried to make a pass on the inside, and as soon as he dove down to the inside, Tyler Johnson closed the door. and unfortunately that caused a wreck. I have not seen Jeff Paisley go to the back yet, so I think race control probably saw it as we did.
Yeah, I think, and like I said, they're both on my team. I'm the owner of the team. They're both on my team, and if I'm race control, if I have to give it EOL in that situation, I think I almost have to give it to Tyler Johnson in the 5, as much as I don't want to. But if I didn't have to call it an EOL, I'm gonna say that's a racing incident because Tyler did come down. I think he checked up for the guy in front of him, but it's hard to call.
Absolutely.
Race control is actually coming over right now talking about it. I think they called it a racing incident.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, really, it's one of those situations where both drivers kind of maybe meet in the middle. You know, both going for one position on track, and well, two cars can't be in one or the same spot of the track, or else they'll be wrecking, and that's exactly what happened there. So, I agree, racing incident, and Jeff Paisley will be able to hold his 8th position.
Jason Day, though, the 52 machine, Maple Leaf Muscle, he's our Canadian driver, and won it last week. Started in the back here tonight after putting it on the pole, and he is currently sitting P1 right now. Pit call or no pit call, it don't matter. I mean, he showed he had race winning speed at the start of the race by putting it on the pole. Now that he's there, I'd say he's probably got that fuel calculated in his head. He's probably watching it like a hawk right now, making sure that he can make it. And these caution laps, like you said, they're helping. Everybody that was close on fuel, they're saving fuel right now.
Yep, and man, we talked about how Christian Pittman had a top 3 finish last week, was looking to kind of bring that luck into this week, and well, not as lucky this time around, and I believe he's on track, but multiple laps down at this point.
I kind of just threw that Maple Leaf Muscle out there, and I think that's going to end up sticking for him. That was just a rare, like, didn't even think about it, just kind of said it.
Man, Thomas Flanagan, he's in 4th right now. If he can keep a top 4 position in this race, he'll have moved at least 20 spots up from where he started. That's where he is right now. He started 24th, so man, what a race from him so far. He had shown speed. He'd gotten up to 7th, and right now sitting 4th in that 87 machine.
Yes, he is. He got in here, didn't turn a practice lap, didn't qual, and they're going green. As we see him stack up a little bit, Jason Day, he's actually hesitated on going.
Oh, and everybody's stacking up, and they're going to be wrecking behind him, or almost at least. I hope no one's motor's hurt from that, because there was some pretty big contact.
They was not prepared for a new leader to be out front here, Zach, and Jason Day, he didn't do anything wrong. He just didn't go. It's his choice on when he goes.
Yeah, as long as the leader doesn't brake check the field, then yeah, they can go however late they want to until iRacing drops the green flag. So yeah, nothing wrong from him. Just everybody didn't expect it, and once one person doesn't expect it, that really just starts a chain.
Yeah, drivers are actually mad right now. I'm not going to mention the name, but somebody came over and said an expletive asking who checked up right then, and I had to go across and say nobody checked up. Leader just went late, but yeah, if you're towards the back, Zach, out your windshield, it looks like somebody just brake checked you is the way it feels. But nope, it just, once the front half of the field started to check up, it just was an accordion effect, like you said.
And with that restart, Jason Day is up to a 6/10 lead already with 30 laps to go here at Iowa. So a nice run by him, or a nice jump on that restart, has him out to a 5 or 6 car length lead. And the only question right now with that car is fuel, because I have no doubt if he can make it to the end, he has the speed in that car to stay up front.
Absolutely. He'll be our first repeat winner of this series this season. We had one last season, but we're going for back-to-back right now for Jason Day, and you know he really wants it.
Yeah, that'll be a question to ask him if he stays inside this top 3, because with how long it takes to get fuel, you can take 4 tires and before the fuel ends. So it wasn't a pit or a tire call for him. He maybe just had to take less fuel than other drivers. I'm not sure, but I'm looking forward to maybe talking to him after the race if he stays up here. Ron Daughtry sitting 3rd, Rex Hoyle 3rd, or sorry, Ron Daughtry 2nd, Rex Hoyle 3rd, Thomas Flanagan 4th, Brad Ringer 5th, your top 5 right there. And a lot of the names that we had seen earlier, Brad Carpenter, Jeff Paisley, obviously we had Trevor Catalano. They're all outside the top 10 right now, other than Brad Carpenter sitting in ninth. I think Zach Murphy was up there as well, so he's inside that top 10. But there were 6 cars there, so I'm losing some names in translation. But
regardless, it's showing that everybody's so fast here tonight that even the guys that were leading this thing, they can't make these passes. They can't get back up to where they were. And I mean, that just shows how competitive this field actually is. Yes, it's hard to pass here, but we saw it with the qualifying times. Everybody's laps are right there with each other.
Thomas Flanagan, he's moved up to third now. That's 21 spots gained. And he looks to try to go past Ron Daughtry right in front of him, that green 3 machine, for second. At this point, you got to start questioning, does he have the speed to catch and pass Jason Day, maybe?
With how strong we saw him this race, you can't count him out. You cannot count him out, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's very hard to count him out at this point. And Jason Day, it is at about 7/10 lead, but he's not gapping him too much right now. But maybe just outside of to where they could draft on him and catch back up.
You know, we hit on Jason Day riding around like 14th after taking the EOL. You think, Zach, maybe he was conserving, saving fuel, maybe lifting early and stuff like that?
Maybe.
And that allowed him to not have to put as much fuel in the car?
Yeah, that might be it. We'll definitely have to ask him after the race. I didn't want to interrupt you there, but we had 3 wide racing back here for 13th as Matt Zaccardo, Ken Zeems, Trevor Catalano, I think it was those 3, were all 3 wide. Crazy racing back there. And here goes Thomas Flanagan to the inside in the 87 machine to move up to second over Ron Daughtry. Clears himself almost. And now inside that top 2 looks to try to track down our leader.
And then he's going to bring the 54 machine of Rex Hoyle to the inside of Ron Daughtry. I think if you're going to make a pass on the inside, you better do it while the tires are still kind of fresh. Although we are 30 laps into this run, so how fresh really are they? I don't know.
Rex Hoyle is going to follow Thomas Flanagan to try to get into that 3rd position over Ron Daughtry, and if he gets past him, then we see Brad Ringer back there. He's going to try to make a pass. So a train of cars on that inside line trying to pass Ron Daughtry right now.
Ron, I raced with him quite a bit in officials before we brought him in this league, and he's one of the drivers. He reminds me of like a Garrett Kinder in our other series. He's always towards like 5th, 6th, but he's saving tires. So I don't know if maybe he's saving tires right now, or maybe he used them up too much. But he's normally really good at conserving his stuff and being there at the end. As we see, Brad Ringer's actually closed in on him also too. So it looks like Ron might be falling back right here a little bit, Zach.
This is the view for our leader right now. You see in the rear view mirror, you see Thomas Flanagan. That's an 8/10 gap. That's what that looks like in the mirror. It looks a lot closer than it actually is. It's one of those things where if you're in a real life car, it's like objects are further than they seem. And right now, you know, if I'm Jason Day racing, you can't see the outside view. That 2nd place car looks a little closer than he actually is.
I mean, Jason has a decent lead, but with 19 laps left, I don't think he's comfortable yet, Zach. And he knows Thomas is fast because he's been around him most of this race. They both started in the back together, and they both gained spots together. So both these guys are really fast. As we see that purple ribbon on the side of Jason Day's car, I'm not sure what that ribbon actually stands for, but I'm about to find out.
We're down to 16 laps to go now, or 17 laps, sorry, here at Iowa Speedway. Jason A. Day, your pole sitter, went back to the back of the field because he won last week, and with maybe a little bit of strategy has worked his way up to the lead and looks to finish this one out for the next 16 laps in the lead. And he's actually starting to build that gap over Thomas Flanagan a little bit more. Not a lot, but little by little he's separating from 2nd place. As Thomas Flanagan, we saw he was racing for 2nd not long ago. He's now a 2nd over 3rd, so he may not have race winning speed, but he definitely has speed to stay ahead of 3rd place and behind.
Absolutely, and I just want to hit on that purple ribbon we seen on the side of Jason Day's number 52 machine. It's for domestic violence abuse awareness. So that's pretty cool that he carries that on his car, brings awareness to a pressing issue that something that's always touched everybody. I'm sure somebody's always experienced it in their family. But right now, man, look, he has a pretty good lead over Thomas Flanagan. But you know, like I said, I don't think he's comfortable yet. We've seen him have some bad luck in the last 2 seasons. So until that checkered flag waves, I don't think he's happy and content just yet.
No, and you really can't be, just because you got to be on top of your own race car to make sure you don't make a mistake, and then there's something you can't control, and that's cautions. Until we get that white flag, a caution would stack this field back up. So you really can't sit comfortably until you see that white flag waved from that flagman.
You know, Zach, we touched on it earlier. The guys that we had running in the front, the only two that's actually moved up from whenever they had to pit and they went to the middle of the pack is Brad Carpenter and Zach Murphy. They're currently sitting 6 and 7, so they've been able to make passes. But our Trevor Catalano, Brian Bianchi, Christian Pittman, we saw him involved in a wreck. But the big hitters that were out front earlier, they're not able to make moves the way Zach Murphy and them are.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to Jeff Paisley, but I don't think he's even on track right now. He was running 7th or 8th on that last restart, so he may have got caught in a wreck.
He disconnected sometime. I don't know when, but I see it on my chat board. It says Jeff Paisley is mainly disconnected.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he got caught up in a wreck that just didn't bring out a caution, but he is disconnected from the race. So tough luck for him through the first 2 weeks that he's run here.
Zach, I know this ain't very professional of me, but are you seeing a bunch of cars blink right now? We're hearing drivers talk about it.
Ron Daughtry, I did see him blink.
Yeah, there's been a few drivers come across saying other guys are blinking. I'm wondering if there's something maybe going on with iRacing. I'm not sure. I watched Thomas Flanagan blink out for like half a lap right then, but then when I looked over on Discord, he was there on your screen, so I'm not sure.
10 laps to go now here at Iowa Speedway for the Crooked Line Racing 125. Jason Day trying to make it 2 in a row. Wants to be the first to do that this season. We talked about how we almost had our 2-time winner last week with Zach Murphy, but he finished a spot short to Jason Day. But Jason looks to mix that up a little bit and, like I said, be the first one to do so. But once again, has to survive 9 more laps, 8 without a caution. So this one's far from over, and he knows it.
I think the race for third's getting ready to heat up between Brad Ringer, Rex Hull, and Zach Murphy because they had a little bit of a gap, Brad Ringer did, but Rex Hull he's there now with Zach Murphy actually looking to his outside in that 29 machine.
Yeah, 3-car battle here for the 3rd position. Brad Ringer there, shown as the 4, but he's the 76 in iRacing. But the 4 there, Brad Ringer, currently sitting in 3rd. But he has 2 cars hounding on him here right now. That's Zach Murphy and, okay, that's a blinker. Okay, sorry about that. That's Rex Hoyle and Zach Murphy behind him. The tough thing with these guys blinking is sometimes it looks as if it's a wreck.
You're exactly right. It puts up a puff of smoke, and I know race controllers came over and asked him to pull off the track. We hate that as league controllers and stuff like that, but we can't just think for one guy. We got to think for the entire group, and had multiple complaints, and we had to do something about it. And that's tough. I hate that for us.
Yeah, honestly, and obviously I'm not, but if I was race control, maybe if it was like 50 laps to go, I'd tell him to pull off, but with 5 laps to go, maybe not. But again, that's race control's decision to make, not mine.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of it with 5 laps to go. But me being the league admin, like the lead admin of this series, but I'm in the booth with you, so that's what I tell you every week. I go tell race control, this is y'all's baby. Call it how you want to call it, and I support whatever. As we see Rex Hoyle in the 54 machine and Zach Murphy in the 29, they're about to make it 3 wide, Zach, for 3rd place. They are 3 wide. They're actually going to clear Brad Ringer.
Yeah, Zach Murphy on entry backed out, so smart move by him as it actually helps him at least stay side by side instead of maybe a mistake causing 3 wide wreck with 4 laps to go.
There right then. Zach Murphy sailed it off into 3, and he's going to push up and try to clear himself, but Brad Ringer had such a run, and they're making contact. Contact, contact.
This is not what Jason Day wants to see right now.
Yeah, he wants to see the white flag. We're one lap away from it.
Yeah, through 3 and 4. About to get to 2 to go. And like you mentioned, 1 lap out from getting that white flag. But a lot can happen in 1 lap, even at a short track. We'll see if he's able to make it around before a caution could possibly come out. As Thomas Flanagan still sitting in second, about a second gap over Rex Hoyle in third. If we take a quick look at our second and third place drivers right now, Thomas Flanagan up 22 spots, Rex Hoyle up 15. And obviously Jason Day, it's not showing up as he takes the white flag. He started in the back. So all 3 of our top 3 right now are our biggest movers on track.
That's insane to see, Zach. Absolutely insane to see.
As Jason Day in the 52 machine out front, started in the back, and he's going to make his way all the way up front to win 2 in a row here in the Crooked Line Racing League. As he crosses the start-finish line, wins at Iowa Speedway. Thomas Flanagan second, and Rex Hoyle wins the battle for third over Brad Ringer. What a race. As Jason Day put behind the 8 ball to begin the race, and he knew that it would be so after winning last week. And, well, that did not stop him from coming back and winning another race.
Yeah, two-time. I mean, and not only a two-time winner, but 2 in a row, Zach. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, that's impressive anywhere or any series, but when you have to start from the back, that makes it even more impressive, sorry.
Got some actually hurt feelings in here tonight, Zach. There's some pretty mad drivers right now. I'm gonna go ahead and get us Jason Day over into the broadcast booth.
Hey, Jason, you got a copy?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I talked to a couple drivers before the race talking about fuel, and from what I heard, it was about 70 laps. What was it for you? Because we saw you in the back. Were you saving a little bit?
That first caution, I came in and topped up, and I knew that I just needed a few gallons when I came in the pit. I think I needed about 5 gallons. I think I shut it off early with about four extra gallons when I pitted, so it gave me about 75 laps. I think I had maybe 15 laps left at the end of the race.
Jason Day, man, congratulations on the win, buddy. This is Tanner in the booth. I know you. I don't know if you heard me over Irish or not, but I kind of, off top of the head, coined a new nickname for you. You're the Maple Leaf Muscle. So, I mean, you put a marvelous race on. You won last week. Started in the back tonight. You said you topped off. I gave you a little bit extra fuel for the second half of the race. But honestly, Jason, shoot me straight here. Did you ever expect to come from the back and win this race and go 2 for 2?
Not really. I knew I had a quick car. I think I had a good shot. Just it was really hard to pass. The high line was actually coming in. I made a lot of passes early in the high line, but I got stuck in traffic kind of too wide for a while, so I didn't know if I was going to make enough up on that pit stop. But I had a good, definitely had a good pit stop and gained 10 spots in the pits.
Yeah, I mean, you made a marvelous call pitting, and like we talk about every week, it takes forever to fill these cars up for whatever reason, and you knew that, so you came in, you topped off. Maybe people thought it was too early, but you had a game plan, and that showed the game plan worked out for you. So congratulations on the win, Jason. That's 2 in a row now. I think it's like your third or fourth crooked line win. I will do a race report this week for you, buddy. Even though I hate doing them, LOL. You got any sponsors or shout outs you want to thank before I send you back over to your race thing?
Sure. Well, thanks to you guys for wonderful broadcasts and taking Tanner for you taking your time away from actually racing and broadcasting. Uh, Five Kings. Look us up on Facebook. Great team, great guys. MF's Designs, Maconi Setup Shop, Butt Kicker, and thanks to my family for letting me race when I'm supposed to be having dinner.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jason. Go enjoy that dinner being Mr. Two Time and 2 in a row. Good job, buddy.
I don't know if starting at Oxford Plains at the rear is really what I want to do.
I'll tell you, I'm scared for you, Jason. All right, Jason Day. Like I said, congratulations on win number 2. We will catch you next week at Oxford Plains, buddy.
Yeah, congrats.
Thank you. It's one of my favorite tracks.
Before we move on here, I mean, he mentioned it. He doesn't want to have to start the back at Oxford Plains tonight. We talked about it before the race, how this is a little bit of an easier track to start out back. Oxford Plains, not that easy. So we'll see if he's able to pull off the 3 in a row. And if he does, I mean, wow, that's a really tough track to do it at. As we got Thomas Flanagan in here now. Thomas, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
What's going on, Thomas? Great run. Second place finish. You started 24th, so, or at least that's what it shows on the graphic. So a great run for you. First of all, congratulations. Take us through your race and how you were able to move up so quickly.
Lap 1, I started 24th. Lap 1, there was a big wreck. I just slowed down a lot, missed a couple cars, ended up 11th, and I knew I had a pretty good car. I was just riding. I had a good pit stop. I came out 5th, I think. And I burned my tires up a little bit too early in the beginning of the race, trying to get around everybody. And this Jason, I couldn't hang with Jason. He was pretty good.
You know, Thomas, I heard you say right then, this is Tanner in the booth, by the way. I heard you say that you just couldn't keep up with Jason, but man, you started 24th on the grid. And I feel like I blinked, Thomas, and you were running 7th, 6th, 7th, you know? So you had obviously race winning pace, but that I don't think you got lucky enough to have that late race caution to kind of put you up there with Jason. Did you, I'll kind of ask you the same question. Starting that far in the back at Iowa in such a competitive field, did you ever think you had enough to get up there and be contending for the lead, finish podium like you did here tonight?
I didn't think I had enough for the podium, but when I was running like 7th, I noticed I was catching the leaders, and I thought I had a pretty good car. I just knew I needed to have a good pit stop and to get off and on pit road without getting a black flag, and I did that.
Right, I know y'all got helped out. A lot of people got a black flag on the pit stop. I counted like 7. I'm not sure what even happened there. I'll have to go back and watch, Thomas, but that don't concern you. You brought home second place tonight. This is your first race with us this season. I hope to have you back, Thomas, for next week and the weeks after. We're going to Oxford Plains next week. You got any sponsors or shout outs you want to throw out there, Thomas, before we send you back over?
Yeah, like with Crookline Racing and Fullboro Motorsports.
Right on. And for those that don't know, Thomas and his son does real life racing. I'm sure they're about to start up. So we wish you good luck in that, Tommy, and stay safe out there, buddy.
Thank you. Yep, Saturday night we start racing.
There you go. Good luck to you, Tommy. And maybe we'll have you in the booth next Tuesday and you can give us an update on that as well.
All right. Yeah, I mean, great run for him to get up to second. He didn't think he could, but I guess he surpassed his own thoughts of how this race could go. And I mean, what can you think when you start 24th? I mean, it can only go up from there, really, and it went really up for him. And another driver that this race went very positively for was Rex Hoyle, and we got him in here. Rex, you got a copy?
I do, sir.
Hey, man. Well, great race for you, too. Congrats on the third place finish. You started this one 18th. I'll kind of ask you the same question I did Thomas. Just take us through how you were able to move up through the field. I know there was a kind of a big wreck early on in the second lap, but take us through how you were able to move up through the field.
I felt pretty good in practice. Weren't the fastest car, but we managed, and qualifying just it went south. So we made some changes and got ready for the race. And the car drove super in the race. I knew it would be better in the race than it was in qualifying. So we slowly worked our way up and tried to put on a good show for the fans and have a good time.
Rex, coming out of that last caution, well, not really last, I think it was a comp caution. I noticed that you were kind of hovering around 4th, 5th. You work your way obviously up to 3rd for the finish. Was you kind of in conserve mode? Because when I call these races, you're always like the quiet assassin. It's like you're always just kind of drifting around about 5th, 6th, but then as them laps start to wind down, you're always towards the front. So you got to be out there conserving, right?
I was driving conservative, pretty much probably 75 to 80% of the race, and I knew I had to have some tires towards the end, and those guys were running me pretty hard, so it was hard to save. But yeah, I was running conservative, trying to save whatever I could.
That's what I thought. And I know you had that butt kicker underneath you, so I know that had to work out. You're feeling all them bumps and everything too.
I did that. His butt kicker's great. Big thanks goes out to Butt Kicker for a great product.
Absolutely, right on. You got any sponsors or shout outs you want to throw out, Rex, before we send you back over your or into your race team room and we wrap the broadcast up?
I think American Tire Distributors, Geppetto's Pizza, Tuxedos by Ted, and Culpepper's Bakery and Cafe.
Right on. Well, maybe we can get you a win, and you can get us some good food from the bakery and cafe delivered to us, Rex.
I hear you, man. I'm gonna try to do it. We're gonna hang around up there in the front, and our day will come.
Absolutely, you got you a win last season to finish the season off, and I have no doubt you will be in victory lane again this season. Well, Rex, good run tonight, buddy. Congrats on the third place. We'll see you next week at Oxford Plains.
Yes, thanks.
Yes,
Congrats.
sir. Well, Zach, you heard it there. I mean, it's tough coming from the back, but those three drivers we just talked to, they didn't have very good starting positions.
No, and I think you mentioned it earlier in the race, near the beginning, how maybe some of the faster drivers just did not have a good qualifying lap, and at least Rex said that the whatever setup they had for qualifying obviously did not work. They made some changes, and whatever they changed worked because he gained 15 spots throughout this race, and even with 100 laps, that's not an easy thing to do, and big props to really the entire field. I know we're talking about our top three, obviously, but props to the entire field. A great race. I'm looking right now. And we only had 3 cautions, 15 caution laps out of 100. That's a great race by all means. And one of those was the competition cautions. Only 2 cautions for Rex. So great race run by these guys. But for our top 3, all had to come from the back. Great job. I'll let you take over your last thoughts on the race, and I'll let these folks look through the final results.
Overall, I'm very, very happy with the race. I can't lie, Zach. I thought it was going to be messy with that lap 1, lap 2 caution with the self spin. I was worried that maybe the set was going to be a little bit too loose for these guys, but man, oh man, it wasn't. They put on a great show here tonight, and excited for Jason Day to pick up another win. Yes, he's a teammate of mine, but I try to be as non-biased as I can in the booth. It's hard. I mean, it is. It's hard, but happy to see him win because he has had such bad luck lately, other than last week and this week. And happy for all the guys, all the top 3 finishers, everybody. They put on a good show tonight. We had a good car count, and liked what we did up in the booth. I love working with you, Zach.
Yeah, absolutely. I always have fun broadcasting these Tuesday night races. Always look forward to them, and I'm looking forward to next week. We had a couple cautions, but we never showed the schedule, so I'll go ahead and show that before we head out of here.
Oxford Plains,
yeah,
Zach. That's going to be a wild one.
Lap-wise, our second longest race of the season, but Oxford Plains not a very big track, so it's going to be a wild race. That's really all you can really say is it's just going to be an absolute chaos, wild. We're going to see Jason Day have to come from the back of the field once again. Very tight track, and not to mention in the afternoon, so that's not going to help the tires much, but I'm looking forward to it. And then we have another bigger track at Phoenix, 75 laps. So we're definitely going to have a different variety of tracks over the next couple weeks, including tonight. And, I think it's going to provide even more great racing. So I'm looking forward to next week. Thank you all for tuning in here tonight. It's been Zach and Tanner in the booth for Rebels Racing Network here at Iowa Speedway.